Hi students, the previous class we discussed about the velocity of the propagation wave and also the magnitude of the surge impedance of a propagating wave for a given transmission line. And in today's class we are going to see about the energy and power of a surge. In general, we know the definition of the surge. Surge is nothing but a higher magnitudes of the voltage or current wave whenever it is subjected to a sort of disturbance in a transient period. Okay. So, whenever the surge is occurred in a transmission line, then what about its energy of the surge and power of a surge? Let us discuss in this class. So, coming to the energy, we know that there are two forms of storage of the energy. They are the inductor and capacitor elements will stores the energy. So the energy in the form of capacitor as the energy stored in the capacitor in the form of electrostatic field, whereas the energy that is stored in the inductor is in the form of electromagnetic field. Therefore the energy of the surge due to voltage and current are stored partially in the form of electrostatic and in the form of electromagnetic forms. So it is very clear that the energy due to the surges that are occurred because of voltage and current are stored. That energy is stored partially in the form of electrostatic and also partial in the form of electromagnetic formats. So coming to the voltage surge of an E volts, let E is equal to voltage surge and small I is equal to current surge, capital L inductance of the line, capital C capacitance of the line, capital L, capital C, inductance and capacitance of the lines, small e, small I are the voltage surge magnitudes and the current surge magnitudes. Then the partial amount of the energy stored, per unit length in the capacitor, that is in the form of electrostatic field is the magnitude is half CE square. We know the basic formula for the energy stored in the capacitor. It is equal to half CE square. Similarly, the energy stored same per unit length in the form of electromagnetic fields will be half Li square. In general, we know that electromagnetic field, the energy stored in the electromagnetic field happens in the inductor case. Electrostatic field storage of energy happens in the capacitor. So the magnitudes of the energy stores are given as half Ce square for capacitor and half Li square for inductor. And the total amount of the energy, if you check it, the total amount of energy per unit length that was stored due to the surges, it is equal to half Ce square plus half Li square, half Ce square plus half Li square. And also we know that the surge impedance, because all this energy stored is due to the surges of a voltage surge and current surge. So also we know that the surge impedance of the line Z0 is the ratio of the voltage to the current, surges, that is E by I is equal to Z0, which is equal to root of L by C as per our previous discussion. So that we can write this as E square by I square is equal to L by C, implies Li square magnitude is equal to Ce square magnitude. Li square magnitude is equal to Ce square magnitude. Let it be equation 1, which will be helpful for us for next coming analysis. So we came to know that the total amount of the energy per unit length is equal to half Ce square plus half Li square, that is for 1 meter length distance. How much amount of energy was stored? Therefore, the total amount of energy is integration of the over value of the energy stored per unit length with respect to the distance dx. Then the total energy given can be given as total amount of energy is equal to integration of the entire magnitude half Ce square plus half Li square with respect to dx. Okay, because this is per unit length energy, and integrating with respect to distance, we will get the overall energy stored due to that surges. Then as per this equation 1, if we substitute the formulas and simplify for this, the total energy is further given as the total energy due to surge, it is given as, so in the place of Ce square I can put it as Li square, so that its value is integral half Li square plus half Li square. I mean to say that entire Li square value with respect to the distance dx. So that we can write this as integral, L is a constant, half Li square plus half Li square, it is Li square, so that I can write this as half, that is L integral I square dx as a total energy in terms of inductor. Whereas in terms of capacitor, you can write the same thing as integration of half Ce square plus half Ce square with respect to distance. Then we can write this as C integral E square dx. This is another format of the entire energy over a transmission line, which was given by two formulas: L into integral I square dx, C into integral E square dx. And from equation 1, it is very clear that the total energy whatever we have observed is equally divided among the inductor and capacitor. If you check it like this, half, multiply this on both sides with half, then you can say that half Li square is equal to half Ce square. Meaning of that is the energy stores equally. The energy due to the surge appearing on the transmission line will be divided equally among inductor and capacitor. This is about the energy, called as first concept in our today's class, energy. So once I repeat this, energy storage is happening due to the energy storing elements called as inductor and capacitor. In inductor, the energy stores in the form of electromagnetic field, whereas in the capacitor, the energy is stored in the form of electrostatic field. Therefore, if you assume that small e and small I are voltage and the current surges magnitudes in a transmission line, and L and C are inductance and capacitance of the lines, which are defined in Henrys and Farads respectively. So with all these assumptions, we can calculate the energy stored per unit length meter in the form of observed electrostatic field in the capacitor as half Ce square, and in the form of electromagnetic field in the inductor we can observe that magnitude as half Li square, so that the total amount of the energy only for an unit length, if you clearly understand this, it is done only for unit length concept, which is equal to the summation of electrostatic and electromagnetic, thereby its value is half Ce square plus half Li square. And from the basic definitions we know that surge impedance Z0 is equal to E by I, the ratio of the voltage to the current, which is equal to square root of L by C. So that we can simplify this as E square by I square is equal to L by C, and from that we can derive one conclusion that the entire amount of the energy stored due to the surge, is equally divided among the electrostatic field and electromagnetic field, which is governed by this equation half Li square is equal to half C square, and this magnitude is still for a per unit length basis. Since I want the total energy stored in a transmission line, we have to integrate that magnitude of the per unit length with respect to the distance. Thereby, the amount of the energy total will be given as integral half Ce square plus half Li square of dx. So, substituting this condition in these values, we get the two magnitudes of the energy storages as L into integral I square dx and C into integral E square dx. So, with this, we completed the first topic of our today's class, that is energy. And next, coming to the second topic, it is power related. So, we came to know that the power in a surge, the power due to surge for a finite length of dx meters, meter is first we have to calculate the power due to that surge for a finite length of dx meters, which can be given as our following equation, that is power P is equal to voltage into current. So we also know that the magnitude of the power due to a surge, it is equal to E can be expanded as I into Z as per Ohm's law. Then I can write this as I Z0 into I, which is equal to I square Z0, because E is equal to I into Z0. This is the reason. Therefore, power P is equal to I square Z0. As I am telling you that I want to calculate this amount of the power for a finite length of dx meters, then I want to calculate this as dp value. What is meant by this dp value? It is nothing but finite amount of the differentiable power which was observed for a finite length of dx. Since it is a power loss, I can put it here with a negative sign, because the energy was wasted in the form of heat, so that we can consider that as a lossage power. The loss amount of the power, mathematically we represent it with negative sign, so that dp is equal to minus differentiating this power magnitude. In this I square Z0 is a constant because its value is root of L by C. Since its value Z0 is equal to root of L by C, L and C are constants, then we can assume that this has a constant value. Thereby, the I is observed to be a variable whenever the surge is impressed on the transmission line, so that the differentiation of this right hand side can be given as minus 2I di Z0. This is the magnitude of the differentiable amount of the power observed for a finite length of dx meters. Let it be equation 1. So, the same amount of the finite power for a length of dx meters can be observed in terms of the transmission line constants. As in our previous discussion, it is clear that there are total four transmission line constants which can be represented. They are the resistance, inductance forming a series branch, and next conductance and capacitance forming an admittance branch, shunt admittance branch. Out of these four elements called resistor, inductor, capacitor and conductance, this resistor and conductance leads to the power loss. And we assume that resistance R, L, C, G are per unit values. All these are per unit values, per unit length values, Thereby, for a distance of this dx meters, the magnitude of the resistance is Rdx, carrying a current of I amperes, and the magnitude of this conductance is Gdx, impressed against a voltage of E volts. Thereby, the power loss for the same amount of the sectional length of dx meters is identified to be dP, which is equal to, since the magnitude of the resistance is Rdx carrying a current of I can write the magnitude as I square Rdx, and due to this conductance we can write this as V square by R. Power in terms of voltage can be written as V square by R. 1 by R is nothing but G. Therefore, I can write this as E square Gdx. Then the total amount of the power for this finite amount length dx meters is nothing but dP, which is equal to I square Rdx plus E square Gdx. This much amount of power you can observe for a finite length of dx meters, represented with equation 2. As per our analysis, the power magnitude P is equal to E into I was simplified as minus 2I di Z naught as equation 1, and as per the transmission line constants of resistance and conductance, we defined the same amount of the power loss as I square R dx plus E square G dx. As these two are equal, we can equate this equation 1 and 2. Then we can write this as minus 2I di Z naught is equal to I square R dx plus E square G dx. So that we can take that E can be written as I into Z naught. E can be written as I into Z naught, and further we can write this as minus 2I di Z naught is equal to I square R dx plus I square Z naught square G dx in our simplification. So that we can observe to be I as common, I square as common. So keeping that I square as common, so the dP minus 2I di Z naught is equal to I square R dx plus E is expanded as I square Z naught square G dx. For further simplification, we can take this I square as common, so that I square is taken as common, so that we can take this I square as common. Then minus 2I di Z naught is equal to I square of R dx plus Z naught square into G dx. So that I was cancelled for one time. We can get this as di by I, which is equal to di by I is equal to minus I by, as we brought this I to this side now, it becomes 1. So 1 by 2 Z naught di by I is equal to minus 1 by 2 Z naught of R dx plus z naught square g dx. Okay. For further simplification, this di by I is equal to minus 1 by 2 into r by z naught plus g into z naught of dx. Okay. Let to simplify for an expression of the current I due to a surge, let small a is equal to half into r by z naught plus g into z naught. Then we can write this as di by I is equal to minus a dx, minus a dx. So integrating on both sides, then we can get this as integrating on both sides, integrating on both sides, we get this as integral 1 by I into di is equal to minus integral a into dx. So that integral 1 by I, it is equal to ln of I, which is equal to minus ax plus integral constant d. So for d constant, put initial conditions that x is equal to 0, and we assume that I value to be as I naught initially. The I value has to be I naught. Then after putting x is equal to 0, this equation becomes ln of I naught is equal to capital D. Since x is equal to 0, a into 0, 0, 0 plus d, it is equal to d. Thereby total ln of I in this expression, we can get this as ln of I is equal to minus ax plus d value. What is d value? D value is ln of I naught. The same thing I am writing here, ln of I naught. For simplification, we can write this as ln of I minus ln of I naught is equal to minus ax. Minus ax. So what is this ln of a minus ln of b is ln of a by b. We can write this as ln of a by b in the sense I by I naught, which is equal to minus ax, minus ax. So giving exponential term on either sides, then exponential and inverse natural logarithm. So exponential term if we cancel out, then we can write this as I by I naught is equal to e to the power minus ax. Therefore I is equal to I naught into e to the power minus ax. This is the current surge equation. Similarly, the voltage surge equation can be written as E is equal to initial value of the voltage E naught e to the power minus ax. Thereby this is current surge equation and this is a voltage surge equation. The purpose of writing this voltage and current surges is to have a product of that voltage and current, then we will get the power of a surge. Then the power of a surge P is equal to voltage into current. As we know that the power P is equal to, now substituting, we will get E naught I naught e to the power minus 2ax. This is the magnitude of the power of a surge. But we know here the A value is equal to, what is A value in our assumption? A is equal to minus half, here we have taken A is equal to half into r by z naught plus g into z naught. Since that value is that much, then we can write the value of the power to be as power is equal to E naught I naught e power minus 2 into A value. What is A value? Half into r by z naught plus g z naught into x. So that 2 get cancelled and we will get that magnitude as this value. So this is about the power of a surge. But if we be specific, and talk about the voltage term or current term, whatever it is, then we can write that as, since we know that the distance is equal to velocity into time for any wave, right now it is a surge wave, x is equal to u into t, we have in general for this voltage to be as E is equal to E naught e to the power minus ax. So, and also we have for a long transmission line, for long transmission lines, G is equal to 0. Thereby, the A value what we can get is, if G is equal to 0, we get that value as R by 2 Z naught. Okay, R by 2 Z naught. Then the magnitude of E here, the magnitude of E in terms of equation, you can write this as E naught into e to the power minus Rx by 2 Z naught. This is the e to the power minus ax value. So we know that the distance is equal to velocity into time for any waveform. The same thing if we express here, multiply on both sides with minus r by 2 z naught, then what you get is rx by 2 z naught, which is equal to rx by 2 z naught, which is equal to, on either sides I am multiplying it so that I can write this as velocity u into r by 2 z naught multiplied by small t. Okay, then what is this u? Velocity, which is equal to 1 by root LC, 1 by root LC, which is to be multiplied with r by 2. And what is this 1 by z naught? 1 by z naught is root of c by l, which is to be multiplied with t as per our discussion. Then what we get is, further, the magnitude of rx by 2 z naught, rx by 2 z naught value, it is equal to, yes, if you check it here, root c get cancelled, root l into root l is equal to l, so that the value is r by 2l into t. The magnitude is r by 2l into t. With this simplification, we can rewrite this voltage current surge. Voltage surge as E is equal to E naught into e to the power minus Rx by 2 z naught. Rx by 2 z naught value is RT by 2L. RT by 2L. So that this is the expression of the voltage surge. And similarly, the current surge is I is equal to I naught e to the power minus R by 2L into T. This is the current expression. So here we can observe from this R by 2L. R by 2L is nothing but a damping ratio. That damping ratio zeta is directly proportional to the R and inversely proportional to L. So that the magnitude of this damping ratio, if you check it, it will decrease for a small timing constant with the tau, whose value is equal to 2L by R. So that you can write this E and I as E is equal to E naught e to the power minus T by tau, where tau is equal to 2L by R, where tau is equal to 2L by R. And next, the current I can be written as I naught into e to the power minus T by the same tau time constant. So that tau is equal to time constant for which the surges will decay. So that in today's class we have seen the energy and the power. Previously we have concluded that the energy is partially stored, half of its value in the form of electrostatic, and the remaining half of the energy is stored in the form of electromagnetic. magnetic fields. Whereas the power magnitude, if you check it, the power magnitude of the surge is given by power P is equal to E naught I naught e to the power minus 2ax, and the voltage and current surges which leads to the power value is given in terms of its exponential quantities as E naught e to the power minus t by tau and I naught e to the power minus t by tau. So with all this discussion, we completed the basic steps of or the basic fundamental definitions of the long transmission line, where we are going to analyze like surge impedance loading, characteristic impedance, next velocity of a propagating wave, attenuation factor, distortion factor, and next in today's class energy of the surge, power of a surge. Like this we have completed all fundamental terminology about the long transmission lines. Okay, and next we are going to move about the waves concept. Okay, coming to the waves concept, in general, if we look out the transmission line, that transmission line is, let me show on the block diagram of a transmission line, which is defined with like this: a sectional length, this was the sectional length with the values of z and for a distance of dx, so that the total value will be z dx, and this is y dx, and the length of the transmission line, finite length, is assumed to be dx. Yes, and we generally call it as a source side, called as sending end side, and this is receiving end side. Thereby, for a lossless transmission line, R will be 0 and G will be 0, so that the Z is equal to R plus JXL, whereas Y is equal to G plus JBC. Out of this Z and Y, the resistance and conductance will be 0 for a lossless transmission line. Then the parameters available will be inductor L and capacitor C. They are of energy storing elements. For that energy, with the help of those energy storing elements, we can define the characteristic impedance of the transmission line as Z0, which is equal to square root of L by C. Characteristic impedance Z0, which is equal to square root of L by C. So whenever the voltage E is injected at the sending end side, then this voltage will be propagated towards the receiving end side without any disturbance, if at all, if it is not gone under disturbance, if the circuit is not gone under disturbance. For example, if the circuit is subjected to a disturbance, the meaning of the disturbance is its magnitude of the impedance should not change. The magnitude of the impedance should not change. If at all, if the magnitude of the impedance of this particular line changes, then we can tell that the transmission line was subjected to some sort of disturbance. So let be time being, we assume that the impedance of the transmission line is Z0, over which the voltage impressed magnitude is of E volts, and the current I is to be passing in this transmission line. Then so these two will be the magnitudes of voltages and currents as incident waves. The meaning of incident is also called as forward wave, called as forward voltage, represented with letter small e. And next, incident current or forward current, represented with letter small I. So that small e and small I, whatever we have discussed here, are incident values. The meaning of incident values are nothing but those are the magnitudes of voltages and currents which are started or initiated at the source side, called as sending end side, and the direction of this propagation will be towards the receiving end side, called as load side. Okay, So that incident voltage and incident current are also called forward voltage and forward current. Small e, small I are moving in the positive direction, that is from sending end side to the receiving end side against an impedance of Z0. Okay, whenever it reaches to a certain point called, at a point of this P, a disturbance was occurred. What is the disturbance? I have connected some sort of load. That load is called as a terminated load, ZT. T stands for termination, terminated impedance load. So whenever this ZT was connected to the transmission line, then before connection of this ZT, the entire magnitude of the impedance is Z0, over which the voltage E and I are traveling. But whenever we have connected this ZT, then immediately these voltages and currents which are traveling on the wave will be subjected to some sort of disturbance. Because of that disturbance, immediately what happens is, at this point of time P instant, some voltage will be reflected back and some voltage will be transmitted into the load. Okay, so what I mean to say is, whenever the voltage waveform is propagating in the direction called as incident voltage E, and let it be point P where the impedance has been suddenly changed because of connecting certain load. Okay, so until this point P, the magnitude of the impedance is Z0, whose value is equal to root of L by C. Whenever the point P instant is reached, then I have closed the switch here. Because of closing the switch, ZT was connected. So here ZT was connected, this is ZT. Immediately at this point of time, whenever the voltage has reached, we connected this ZT. Immediately some portion of the voltage will be reflected back and some portion of the voltage will be transmitted into the terminated impedance. Such a voltage is called as reflected voltage, called as E suffix with R, and transmitted voltage is called as E suffix capital R, E suffix capital R. So here the terminology is nothing but the total, there are three voltages. They are incident voltage or forward voltage, which was represented with the letter E suffix small f. F stands for forward or incident. So this forward voltage or incident voltage will be moving from sending end to receiving end until the disturbance was occurred. Whenever the disturbance occurs, then immediately it will be splitted into two parts which will move in opposite directions. So mean to say that some portion of this forward voltage will be reflected back, means its propagation direction will be from load to source, from the load to source, that is from receiving end to sending end side. Such a wave component is called as reflected voltage, and some portion of the voltage will be refracted, that is transmitted into the terminated impedance called as E capital R. Capital R stands for transmission or refraction. Okay, so let me write that quantities. EF is equal to incident voltage. The same thing happens for the currents also. So EF is equal to incident voltage, are also called as forward voltage, which happens against an impedance of Z0. And next ER. ER is the reflected voltage, reflected voltage or R. Backward voltage. Okay, again this ER is subjected to Z0, similar to EF. And next is E capital R. It is equal to refracted voltage, refracted voltage, or also called as transmitted voltage. And this thing was happened for an impedance of ZT, because it was terminated with that impedance called as ZT. So these are the three voltages called as EF, ER and E capital R. Similarly, the current magnitudes are IF, incident current, or forward current, which will pass through the impedance called Z0 in the forward direction, positive direction, that is from sending end to the receiving end side. Whereas IR is the small r, IR is the reflected current or backward current, which moves against same Z0 in the opposite direction, that is from receiving end to sending end side. And the last current is called I capital R, which is equal to refracted or transmitted current, which will pass against ZT, Then the relationship between these quantities, to be very simple, there are 6 quantities called as 2 incident quantities, 2 reflected quantities, and 2 refracted quantities. So those are, in a shortcut I am writing here, those are whose values are EF, IF are incident voltage and incident currents which will move against Z0. ER, IR which will move against Z0, and the directions are, since it is forward, from sending end to receiving end. Whereas ER, IR, these move from receiving end to sending end against an impedance of Z0. Since they are moving in opposite direction, we can put it here minus for symbols, minus symbol for any of the quantity. I will put it as IR. Next, refracted, ER, IR, capital letters, against an impedance of ZT. This will pass through load or terminated impedance. Okay. Mathematically, we can write them as EF is equal to IF into Z0. EF is equal to IF into Z0. ER is equal to minus IR into Z0. Why this minus? Because it is moving in opposite direction with reference to the incident. That is why the reflected quantity is minus always. And next, the refracted quantity E capital R, which is equal to I capital R into ZT, where ZT is the terminated impedance. And also at any point of time, the total magnitude or the resultant E capital R refracted will be equal to the forward and reflected summation. Similarly, I refracted is equal to IF plus IR as per our KCL general principles. So this point, if you check it out, total resultant must be equal to the other side sum of voltages that was incident and reflected. That is why these waves are also called as stationary waves. Okay. So ER is equal to EF plus ER and IR is equal to IF plus IR. This ER and IR are subjected to ZT. EF and IF are subjected to Z0. ER and IR are subjected to again Z0, because in the reverse direction I will put it as minus. Okay. So the summation of the resultant or overall resultant values is equal to summation of incident and reflected waves at any point of timing of instant over a transmission line. Okay.